Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Mexi here once again, and I am back for the likes of the Mexi Toys videos. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Luigi's Mansion 2, aka Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon for those of you who lived in North America, for the Nintendo 3DS/Nintendo Switch, as we are still playing through Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. So, last time, we've essentially did manage to fully complete the third mission in Secret Mine. That's what appears to be mission D-3, Across the Chasm, which not only for the fact that we did somehow manage to able to capture the 18th Boo, but as well as from that, we somehow managed to able to claim ourselves every single gems, including the most painful one out of them all though, which appears to be gem number 13, but that's just mainly because of this off-screen recording attempts, and let me tell you, I'm not a big fan of the snowball fight bonus area just because it's way too finicky, and not to mention though, I somehow got rage quit a couple of times in my past recording sessions, by the way, if you probably already know what I mean, ever since and by the end of September. So either way though, thankfully though, we somehow succeed, so yeah, end of story. And of course, in addition to that, we somehow claim ourselves yet again with the 3-star ranking medal, so everything else is pretty top notch, all things considered. So today for this video is that we're about to continue things on and move on to the boss mission in terms of Secret Mine, and this is going to take place in Chili Ride. So, as I said before, it's about the fact that no wonder why Secret Mine is by far the shortest mansion we can go into, mainly because no matter what though, there are a few areas that we've somehow explored so far, except the fact that there is technically one area we haven't exactly interacted with or explored through yet, and that's mainly because no matter what though, we've already activated that particular, well, the pixelated camera thing, which pretty much leads us to, what else? The next boss in the game. So either way though, and fundamentally speaking though, is about the fact that we were also able to meet up with the forms of Processor again, except this time, I believe the Processor now actually has 4 horns, as opposed to 3, 2, or 1 horn. So either way though, that's besides the point. So, and hopefully eventually though, we can able to actually guarantee to claim ourselves the next Dark Moon piece. So yeah, we are getting pretty close for this point folks, especially concerning for the fact that, well, you probably already noticed about the fact that the reason why it took so long to able to get this video uploaded, mainly because, as you probably already know, ever since on Wednesday, we've decided able to do this particular marathon of Let's Plays of all things, which appears to be Mario Kart Tour, which as a result though, gee, I've honestly have no idea why I somehow managed to try to do this. Mind you, about the fact I would like to discuss upon the forms of specific track differences and all that stuff, but that's besides the point. So anyways, here we are onto the forms of Workshop Landing, which as a result, of course, we can't do anything aside from the fact that we can able to use that particular strobe bulb technique to able to actually activate that particular door, so then we'll pretty much guarantee to able to take on the next boss in the game. So it won't be nearly as long compared to the forms of the previous boss fight, so okay, so it looks like we're about to be trying to deal with this particular monstrosity of a boss fight, which, as you can see, the perspective on this boss fight is actually a lot different this time around. So rather than just trying to able to walk around, unlike the forms of how it does on the previous boss fights, so in here though, we always have to able to utilize that particular bomb cannon, and basically though, it's your job to able to actually break those particular ice targets, as you can see, and basically though, as soon as you're able to actually get rid of any of those icicle targets, as you can tell, basically though is about the fact that it's your chance able to actually just try to shoot the actual, the bombs right at the forms of the actual weak spot of this particular ice monster. And taking a notice from the likes of the Legend of Zelda games, if you try to face off against with Dodongo, for instance, basically though you just simply just, you know, shoot the bomb right into its mouth, and basically though, that's essentially how we can deal with this fight, basically. Although, just like before, about the fact that if we managed able to come across into Processor once again, but this time, as I said before, he now has 4 horns, and as you can see, he decides able to warp into different spots. So, meaning about the fact that the actual fights themselves might be a little bit tricky at this time around, so just trim short for the fact that we might be up for the challenge. And of course, we have to do this for a grand total of 3 times, just like the forms of how it does it ever since in Gloomy Manor, Haunted Towers, and Old Clockworks. So we're pretty much used to at this point. So, anyways though, now speaking of which though, I've also found out that the Processor ghosts actually do have names, by the way. Like for instance, in the forms of in Gloomy Manor, the Processor on that particular mansion was actually named Grungy Processor, and meanwhile for Haunted Towers, the Processor's name was Hush Processor, and during the forms of in Old Clockworks, his name was Overset Processor, and it looks like we're about to be faced off against with the forms of Skewered Processor in Journey Forms of in Secret Mine. So that's one thing I totally forgot to mention about this. Ever since in Journey Forms of some boss videos, as far as this is concerned, but that's besides the point. So, and by the way, something's worth noting for, if you keep missing those specific aiming shots with your bombs, if you're trying to able to keep on missing those icicle targets, basically though, that this particular ice monster will decide able to regenerate the actual specific targets, as you can see, meaning about the fact that you have to restart this entire process again. Thankfully not all over again, but just usually in this one particular part, because otherwise though, you'll be spending most of your time just trying to able to actually like, it's kind of like the timing thing basically, because obviously it's about the fact that timing is key here, so that's besides the point. So anyway, a few things I want to talk about is about the fact that, well, today's date, of course, there is the 4th of October today, in some cases in 2024 today, so it may look like about the fact that we've only got about 13 more days to go until Super Mario Party Jamboree will be releasing, and I believe, in addition to that, we've only got about exactly 3 weeks, or technically 21 days to go, until Sonic X Shadow Generations will be releasing on the Nintendo Switch, alongside with PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X/S, and even PC as well. So, chances are though, still it's really dang quick, for the sake of certain days has to be over and done with, so anyway. Oh, and every once in a while though, it's about the fact that if we try to meet up with the forms of that particular skewy Processor again, basically though, it's about the fact that the actual icicle will decide to show up. It just to show for the fact that he might slid around every once in a while. So either way though, now let's do this for the 3rd and the final time. Actually, kind of think about it, I actually really enjoyed this boss fight, I'm not gonna lie. Despite the fact that the only frustrating part about this to me though, is about the fact that you're probably not gonna spend most of your time wasting your specific accurate shots if you're trying to able to take care of the forms of the last few icicle targets, and just to show for the fact that, well, just like the forms of how it does it on some parts throughout the game, there's going to be some motion controls involved, so just to ensure for the fact that if you really want to give yourselves a nice little aiming accuracy, so relatively speaking, everything else checks out there basically. So anyways though, now as far as I'm aware about the fact that, like I mentioned about this before, that we somehow so far got the a pretty cool overview trailer for Super Mario Party Jamboree. I suppose there are quite a few games left now, in terms of those specifically, the first-party Nintendo titles for the Nintendo Switch, and that's what it appears to be. Well, in terms of the overview trailers, I believe next up it will be Mario Luigi Brothership is going to be up next, and after that though, it will be Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, and I suppose after that though, it will be Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, for not only for Nintendo Switch, but maybe possibly the Switch successor or something. Well, who knows, we'll find out to do it at some point in the next few weeks to come. So anyways, so now we're done with the forms of the boss fight in Secret Mine, and let's claim ourselves the next Dark Moon piece. And thankfully though, unlike the previous bosses though, this goes by a lot faster than I was expecting, which is especially noticeable concerning for the fact that unlike in Haunted Towers though, we have to deal with the forms of the most annoying luck-based elements to it, and meanwhile for Old Clockworks though, it can be quite lengthy to get all the way up to the boss fight though, and by the way Luigi, there's no time to celebrate once you're able to try to step onto the ice, because if you try to, you know, run fast and all that stuff, you slid around. So, and luckily though, we didn't lose any of our health, so yeah, that's actually pretty tight, especially considering for the fact that yet again, we've claimed ourselves the glorious 3-star ranking medal, so everything else checks out there. So either way, and of course, before you're able to actually head over to, presumably speaking now, that we might able to actually unlock the final mansion we can able to decide able to explore. But that's not going to be until whenever we dive into it, until specifically until next Monday, presumably speaking, on the likes of the forms of, I would say on the 7th of October, presumably speaking. Although, mind you, about the fact that, speaking of which though, since we're now on October, of course, meaning about the fact that we've only got about, presumably speaking now, we've got about 27 more days to go until Halloween is about to be starting. So either way though, chances are though, there's going to be a lot of pumpkins or jack-o'-lanterns has now been on sale on the likes of certain shops recently, especially concerning for the fact that, you know, just trying to able to decorate anything relates to Halloween. So yeah, everything else checks out there when it comes to likely trying to able to prepare for celebrating Halloween. So anyway, so there's our next counterpart of processor right here, and somehow we only got 60 gold, but that's okay though, because then again though, we somehow claim ourselves our best ranking results, and we somehow unlocked the extra mission after, you know, capturing not 1 but 3 boosts. So that's quite a little amount compared to the forms of how it does it on the previous mansions, that's for sure, because relatively speaking now, I can't even believe we somehow gone through the forms of Secret Mine a lot more quicker than I was expecting. I mean, yeah, no matter what though, despite the fact that the snowball fight bonus area does give me a lot of trouble in the past, but think about it for the moment, and that's what appears to be about the fact that luckily you can still play the game on the go, either on the 3DS or the Nintendo Switch nowadays. So, despite the fact that you can't play online anymore on the 3DS version, because, you know, Nintendo Network is now officially dead. So, yeah, it looks like we've now unlocked or able to actually access to the final mansion. So, yeah, this might actually be the 5th mansion we can able to explore into. So, yeah, it seems kind of crazy, all things considered, and it may look like about the fact that we've only got 1 piece left for the Dark Moon to restore. So naturally speaking, it's going to be a tough challenge, all things considered, but then again, we're not going to get ahead of ourselves at this point just yet, because it looks like we're just about to be tackling through the extra mission right now, in terms of Secret Mine. So at least we can able to actually still do some more stuff for the sake of Secret Mine. But before we get into that though, let me quickly go on to the forms of EGAD's Vault for a second, and just to double check on the forms of the gem collection, just to see what this particular statue we might able to actually see this time, after obtaining every single gems in Secret Mine. And it looks like that Luigi did somehow manage to able to bring up the Hoover Sunction thing for the Poltergust 5000, and yeah, everything else checks out there, basically. So, yeah, nothing else I can really say about it, and actually, as it turns out, we are pretty much almost done collecting every single gems into the entire game itself. So, as a result, though, yeah, it seems that about the fact that we've now on to, presumably speaking, onto the final stretch of the game, specifically though on a Dark Moon Quest mode. So either way, but there's also the forms of Scarescraper mode, which then again we'll check out that as soon as we're done with every single aspect in terms of Dark Moon Quest. So for now, let's tackle through the extra mission in Secret Mine. So either way though, let's just go ahead and hop into this, shall we? Now, there's also another thing worth noting for, is about the fact that obviously though, since yesterday, that we somehow received the second episode in terms of the forms of Sonic X Shadow Generations Dark Beginnings. That's what appears to be about the fact that we somehow watched Finding the Way. And oh no, I actually read into it at this point. I mean, sure enough though, it's about the fact that we've only got about, I would say 6 days for now until the third and the final episode in terms of the forms of this particular prologue animation as far as I'm concerned, and that's going to be to the Ark. So as a result though, I'm still really looking forward to see what the actual specific stuff actually handles with. So anyways though, let's just go ahead and dive right into, of course, the final mission in Secret Mine before we head over to the final mansion in the game, which apparently is going to be called Treacherous Mansion. So I wonder what that's going to be all about.
Whoa. Ooh.
Although, then again, is about the fact that I don't think it's possible we can able to go into the 5th and final mansion just yet, specifically until next Monday, because it may look like about the fact that the uploading schedules is about to change slightly, all thanks to the faults of the existence of our entire Let's Play of Mario Kart Tour, just before we're able to actually start able to figure something out for planning to do Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass, and maybe potentially a brand new Mario Kart game for the Switch successor or something like that. Well, I suppose we'll be able to find out more about it probably at some point until next year in 2025, if possible. So anyway, also I completely forgot to mention about this actually, about the fact that yes indeed, we've only got about 7 days left, or should I say 1 week left, until Dragon Ball Sparking Zero will be releasing on PlayStation 5, in addition to Xbox Series X. So, relatively speaking though, and also PC as well. Now, before I found out about the fact that there are 2 different types of control schemes you can able to actually interact with, in terms of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, there's the forms of standard controls, and for my personal favorite of mine, there's also the classic mode control scheme, where basically though it plays out pretty much like the forms of how it does it in not only Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 1, but as well as 2 and 3. So meaning, for instance, if you're trying to able to dash forward, you're simply just trying to able to actually press the X button, and then press the circle button to able to guard yourself, and trying to press the triangle button for key blast or rush chain attacks or anything else like that, and of course press the square button for rush attacks. And of course you can able to maneuver your character around by simply trying to, you know, tilt the actual left analog stick or anything else like that, and then just trying to press the I would say L2 for key charge or anything else like that. Well, mind you about the fact I used to able to actually play Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 1 on the PlayStation 2. Well, mind you about the fact I'm pretty much still used to with playing through not only Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 2, but as well as Budokai Tenkaichi 3, neither with Tenkaichi Tag Team on the PlayStation Portable, but that's just mainly because I feel like the forms of that particular movement, as well as the gameplay, is actually way more faster than the forms of how it does it for those very slow, clunky moments on the first game to me though. But either way though, that's as far as I can try to say about this, I guess. So either way though, and for what I can gather about the fact that so far anyway, there's going to be a grand total of 12 maps is going to be confirmed for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. So for instance, they'll include Planet Namek, Open Field, Rocky Land, City, World Tournament, Tournament of Power Arena, Hyperbolic Time Chamber, the land of the Kairos, I think is what it says anyway. Oh, it's Kais. Okay, I've sort of misspelled on that, so I do apologize for that. And also Islands, Cell Games Arena, specifically in Evening, and City Ruins, and of course Destroyed Planet Namek. So yeah, I wonder what they're gonna bring us some more stages into the table. Well, I suppose we'll find out more about it probably until next week or so. So chances are though is about the fact that I'm still basically excited for it, despite the fact that we still have no luck to try to able to get ourselves not only the PlayStation 5, but as well as Xbox Series X. Although, to be fair though, it's probably too late for me now to able to get, you know, Xbox Series X now, but that's just mainly because I still got myself Xbox One, especially concerning for the fact that, well, obviously that is about the fact that for my TV at the moment, does not support HDMI 2.1 cable or anything else like that for a certain capacity's sake. Well, usually relatively speaking, I was about the fact it has been about quite a few days ago since I actually mentioned something related to PlayStation 5, because obviously that was about the fact that thanks to Ray the Flying Squirrel has already mentioned about the forms of a lot of announcements they did somehow brings us into, not only for Sonic Central, but as well as State of Play. So no matter what though, it may look like about the fact that we are basically done with all the other, like, video game presentations at this point when it comes to the forms of 2024, aside from the Game Awards, which is still about to be happening at some point in December. So because of that, though, I'm sure enough, though, it might be possible about the fact that the Game Awards in 2024 might be able to actually come around the exact same time as with that particular DLC that Ray the Flying Squirrel has mentioned about, something related to the forms of Sonic X Shadow Generations with the Sonic Movie 3 pack. So yeah, that seems very interesting to say the least, and I cannot wait to say able to check out an additional level that is based off from Sonic Movie 3. In addition to that, though, just play as Keanu Reeves' Shadow in the forms of one of those specific levels in Shadow Generations or something. So either way, though, but then again, though, we've only got about 3 weeks left now until that game is going to be releasing in multiple platforms. So, but yeah, you probably get the idea about that, especially concerning for the fact that, well, let me know in the comments down below for the question of the day. Are you guys still excited, able to actually finally able to get a chance to able to see, you know, some more stuff is about to bring us into, for the likes of not only Super Mario Party Jamboree, but as well as the forms of Sonic X Shadow Generations, and heck, even with the forms of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, because let me tell you, October is going to be a gem-packed full month during the forms of this year so far. This is mainly because no matter what, though, the games themselves are incredibly going to be hyped, not only for Mario fans, but as well as Sonic fans, and even Dragon Ball Z fans alike. So, that could be also applies for November as well, if only for the fact that with Mario Luigi Brothership is going to be up next, well, at the very least after the release of, you know, Super Mario Party Jamboree first. So, but either way, that pretty much does it for the extra mission in Secret Mine, and thankfully though, it doesn't take me nearly as long as I thought it was going to, so because of that though, let's see what rank we somehow got, and it may look like we will easily guarantee to get ourselves, what else, this glorious 3-star ranking medal. So, yeah, pretty good. So, I'm not exactly sure if that's going to turn out as soon as we're able to go into the forms within the 5th and the final mention in the game, but then again, no, we'll find out more about it again and during at some point on next Monday, presumably speaking though. So, but anyways though, also, what I've also noticed something is about the fact that also during around that time until the 7th of October, they may look like about the fact that I believe that Mario Party Star Rush will be expected to become 8 years old during that time once we get to the 7th of October, which is crazy. So, but anyways though, you get the idea. We'll just insert the last bunch of ghosts during the forms of in Secret Mine, and exponentially we can able to add it in even more money with 1020 gold. So yeah, Secret Mine is officially done. Well, aside from the fact that yet then again though, there is technically one last thing I need to do off screen, by the way. That's of course trying to get that particular 3-star ranking medal in the very first mission in Secret Mine, which appears to be Cold Case, but again, I will try to do that on my spare own time, in case if I, you know, trying to able to accomplish the majority of these things, basically. So either way, yeah, looking good so far, especially concerning for the fact that hopefully that gives us a huge opportunity to able to, you know, trying to finish up this game around that time when Halloween is about to start. So, yeah, it seems like a good fit for able to end this Let's Play off eventually though. So we shall see what happens, especially concerning for the fact that at this point in time, we've got quite a lot of games to focus on at this point. So anyways though, yeah, with all that being said folks, it's about the fact that exponentially speaking though, is that, well, as you can tell, we've got one more mansion left, which is Treacherous Mansion. So, yeah, this place is going to be quite huge, especially concerning for the fact that there's going to be a lot of big rooms and familiar areas we can able to explore into. So, yeah, it's going to be quite a thrilling experience. So, I suppose, with all that being said, folks, is that we get endings off this point right here. So join me next time for more of Let's Play of Luigi's Mansion 2, aka Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, and that's what appears to be about the fact that we're going on to the 5th and the final mansion, which is Treacherous Mansion. So I'll see you guys on Monday. Later, fellas.